Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Building a Culture of Capture Using AI. Thank you so much for investing this time with us and our industry leaders. If you are an APMP member, this webinar will apply toward your continuing education units for certification. As with all Shipley webinars, this presentation will be uploaded to our website by tomorrow, so please share with your colleagues and anyone who might benefit from today's discussion. We have two experts joining us today. Amy McGeady and Kim Pack will tell us about their experiences with the AI tool. Amy McGeady is the Senior Vice President of Strategic Services at Shipley Associates. She provides leadership for Shipley's strategy and process offerings that help clients optimize business development practices for sustainable winning results and successful teams. Amy has been a proposal manager, a proposal-centered director in a Fortune 100 company, a small business owner, and a nonprofit CEO and CSO. She currently serves on the APMP Board of Directors. She has also demonstrated success growing businesses and nonprofits in multiple market sectors. She has experience in a wide range of business development functions, including strategic positioning, proposal management, process optimization, and team building. Kimberly, better known as Kim Pack, president of the Federal Organization at Applied Information Sciences, is dedicated to leading the organization with a focus on the success of her customers, their missions, and her employees. She is a proven business executive with over 30 years of federal and commercial experience in strategic planning, IT services, management consulting, and business development and capture. Kim has a proven track record of building high-performance teams, driving revenue growth, and implementing strategic plans to achieve corporate objectives. She provides objective advice and expertise to help organizations solve complex challenges, create value, maximize growth, and improve business performance. Thank you, Amy and Kim, for being on our panel today. And with that, Amy, I will hand off control of the webinar to you.
Thank you for that introduction. Until recently, how we do business development, from when we're doing our market research and positioning to capture and proposals, it hasn't changed a lot over the last 20 years, but we're really at the beginning of a time of transformation business generally, and where we are at in business development specifically. And there are three major changes that we're seeing that we thought were important to highlight as we talked with you today. The first is just the field is changing due to changing expectations and changing capabilities. We have access to richer data. We have better data analytics. So that's really raising the bar on how we harness data during market positioning, during capture, and in our proposals. When it gets to the stage of seeing RFP requirements, we're seeing them become more and more complex with greater expectations around our data-driven insights and in terms of our performance metrics. And then we're seeing shorter timelines, which is really pushing the need for more efficient processes. So if you use AI as a tool to adapt to these changes in our field, it really can make gathering data-driven insights, synthesizing information, really a lot quicker, easier, and less labor intensive. We're also seeing roles evolve to reflect more of what humans do better than technology, developing strategy, creating meaning. So we're seeing a shift in attention from those routine operational tasks to really shifting attention to understanding customer needs more deeply and aligning our pursuits and our proposals with broader business objectives, both ours and our clients. And so, as we focus not just on winning this opportunity, but on how business development and capture help us accomplish our business goals, we have to do more work across teams, and our roles become increasingly collaborative because of that. And if we're using AI to do all of this, it allows us to get to our own ideas faster and to automate those routine tasks that allow us to make, when a human is in the loop, more of a strategic thinker than a doer. And then the workforce has been fundamentally changing over the last 4 years. I don't anticipate us stopping that anytime now. Our workforce is now much better equipped to work remotely and collaborate remotely. We are better able to automate a lot of the routine tasks that free up our time to be more creative and more analytical. And AI really allows us to work remotely effectively and to be more flexible in our work arrangements. So, the evolving role of AI in proposals in 2024, those early adopters that are using AI and capture and proposals, what we're seeing in 2024 is a lot of first draft content generation, people using AI for ideation, for research, and to summarize content. And as we move into 2025, I think those of us who are using AI to its fullest potential are going to be moving more in the direction of deeper brainstorming between proposal managers and AI. We can use AI to generate visuals, and then we can do more nuanced and more personalized compliance checks. Using the tools that are getting increasingly better every day, and then we'll be better able to predict the outcomes in our probability of winning based on how well we seem to be addressing our customers' needs and requirements. One of the kind of culmination of these changes is we're seeing more of a hybrid business development and capture organization and hybrid business development capture teams these days. And really, this is all being driven by market conditions. So things like increased competition. I mentioned compressed timelines. So we see these rapid RFP turnaround times, which give us less time to transition through the phases from business development to capture to proposal development. So teams have to work more cohesively end to end to be able to respond more quickly and more effectively. We see our client expectations changing. They're expecting more tailored and solution-focused proposals that are really dependent on doing business development and capture well before an RFP ever comes out, so that we really can demonstrate that we understand our clients' needs, and hopefully we've shaped those clients' needs. And then finally, the complexity of solutions, that as solutions become increasingly complex, it's important to be able to draw upon the skills that are really important in business development, and the skills and capabilities are important in capture. So, all of these market conditions are causing this more blended business development and capture capability within teams.
So with that, Amy, thank you for that, because one of the things that we find very often is lack of resources to get to all of the proposals that we want to do. And so when we were looking at AI as a team member or as a tool that we wanted to use, we really wanted to make sure that we could get our teams as competitive as possible. And so how did we do that? First, here at AIS, we no longer only looked at pWin as a tool. It has become a team member who is trained by Shipley, just like our proposal managers. This team member doesn't take PTO or get sick, and is at the ready whenever we need them. So this gives us great flexibility and helps optimize the team by putting the right resources in place for each proposal. And so one of the things that I wanted to share with you, or a few things that we wanted to share with you, are some of the things that our staff really appreciates about having an AI tool in place for our proposals. The first one is really that it gives us time back. It takes away those time-consuming repetitive and administrative tasks that all proposal managers have to do, helps us with that. It really does help us streamline our collaboration across all departments in the organization. And what that does for us is it gives us a chance to truly get the best information from each one and put it into one area that then will be pulled on for writing the first draft. So from that, and because of that, it gives us a running start on these proposals. what we do love about the product mostly is the ability now to be able to focus on things that truly make a difference in winning a proposal, like compelling narratives. And so this gives us the opportunity now in the time back to have problem solving time and innovations around what we are actually putting in there. So the flight plan truly reinforces that strategic thinking and content development. And so from that perspective, the longer we use it, what we are finding, and we've been using it just about a year now, we are finding that the more that we ingest of the work that we've done over the past year, the more it has our voice, AIS voice in it, and where we are today, maturity-wise, to be able to pull the right information in that gives us that winning ability for winning these proposals itself. And so as you're looking at a proposal development tool, there's a few things that we want to think about. Here, we aspire to and have found what works best for us is really around bringing the tool in earlier in the opportunity life cycle. When we bring the tool in earlier in the life cycle itself, there's a couple things that it does. First and foremost, it takes the BD organization, the capture organization, and the proposal organization all in one place. So it actually integrates those teams to bring in a centralized place for deal specific information that now helps us prepare for client meetings, hopefully that we can get to shape these opportunities, and those to really highlight our win themes, to truly ask questions around key areas of focus, and really look at our gaps, where we may have them, and what we need to find out to get to those gaps and make those strengths for us instead of weaknesses. So as we look at this, we are prepping for meetings, we're prepping for gate reviews, we're prepping for executive reviews. All of that information now is in one place. We can quickly retrieve all of the documents and information that we need by using this tool, and create that draft content or the templates that we need to really move this thing forward. So as we use this tool, what we are finding is all the goodness in getting clear information in somewhere, getting consistency, getting quality out, and being able to quickly retrieve it. But we're also able to use this AI tool to perform our language checks and tone. This is really important to us because the time and effort we used to take to one voice a proposal now is done in the AI tool, giving us much more efficiency back as well. So let's talk a little bit about drawbacks of using these tools. And so one of the things that I think, and I harp on all the time, if you're using an open source Gen AI proposal tool or chat tool, there's a few things that you're missing out on. Number one, you're missing out on industry-specific knowledge. One of the things that you really want to look at is it creating generic information for you that lacks depth and customer insight that makes you much more relevant to the customer. So you want to look at that. And if you're getting a lack of industry-specific information, that's something that is a red flag and a drawback. It also could, in our case, could provide outdated or incorrect information. When we first ingested all of our information, we were ingesting things from 5 years ago. That information is not how we do business today. And so making sure that you have the right information to create the correct information that's good for you today and in your maturity is really important. So as you start to look at this, one of the things that we find, especially in the market that we're working in, federal government, we find that also we use a lot of acronyms, and AI doesn't know those acronyms, right? So there is a potential risk in using acronyms for what they think it is and not what it actually is. So you want to think about how you nuance wording, nuance those acronyms, and making sure that everything is there. Also, we don't want anything being handled in a sensitive manner that could come out and not caught by the humans in the loop. So we want to make sure that that's something that is a drawback that you have to keep an eye on and you're looking at. What we've done now is with our tool, it's all in-house. We're using all of our own information, and we have been able to mitigate these risks by putting in process and in place all of the things that matter to us when we're putting a proposal out. So when you're thinking about using these, you really want to look at what are the regulations and the policies of your company. Can you use an all-purpose outside chatbot? If you can, great. Now think about where you're looking for information and if there's any kind of infringement on that information, you want to make sure you're doing that. But for us, the security concerns go away once we've had it in-house ourselves.
Kim, I love how you talked about generative AI becoming like a member of your team. I think that that's such an important mindset for all of us as we become really effective at using generative AI. In his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman, he explains how our brains operate using two distinct systems. System one thinking, which is that fast, intuitive, instinctive way that we think. And system two is slower, it's more deliberate, it's more logical. And as humans, the vast majority of our thinking is system one, that our thinking is really governed by intuition, and it doesn't require a lot of conscious effort a lot of the time. So whether we're using AI or ourselves, I think it's important to understand the difference between system one and system two thinking. So system one thinking is really best in those situations where we can make quick decisions based on our experience and our intuition. So decisions that really depend on, recognizing familiar patterns or making snap judgments. Things like we're using system one thinking when we're driving a familiar route, when we're doing tasks we've done before, when we're finding a friend's face in a crowd. We're using system two thinking when we're trying to solve more complex problems, when we're in unfamiliar situations that require more careful analysis, us to be more logical and more deliberate. Things like when we're writing proposal content or we're solving a complex math problem. So it's really important to understand this model when we're trying to think through what type of AI teammate is going to best meet our needs. Because in the complexity of business development, we need AI tools that both use system one and system two thinking if we really want to maximize the benefit of using generative AI. So in proposals, if we were to rely only on system one thinking or even primarily on system one thinking, there's real drawbacks to this. This can result in content that feels very generic or repetitive. So, if we use system one thinking, we see responses that feel very surface level, that there's a lot of overgeneralization. So, we're relying on these broad patterns, but we may not be talking about specific client needs. If we're, using that more limited critical thinking, it means we're struggling probably with complexity. So our proposals that result from that have less nuance. We fail to assess risks that are important, and we really don't fully explore alternative solutions. And that results in, errors, it results in bias. It can, if we're being inflexible, but we're in these unfamiliar situations, we can have proposals that really don't address the uniqueness of a particular opportunity or any unusual requirements or conditions in the RFP. So when we use system two thinking, this is when we're able to be more competitive during both capture and the proposal phases of an opportunity. So system two thinking is when we tap into those more deep analytical capabilities. This is slow, it's deliberate, it's logical, and whether we're doing this ourselves or through AI, this means doing analysis, iteration, carefully considering all of the aspects of a situation, breaking things down. So if you're using AI in capture or in proposals, there are solutions like pWin.ai that have a lot of complex prompting that go on in the background, multi-layer prompts to really break activities down the way we do when we're using system two thinking. In those cases, when we or a technology solution are using this system two thinking, we can handle complexity better. We can handle nuance better. We can be systematic in how we break down problems and develop solutions. We can evaluate multiple options and consider the long-term implications of different choices. And once we've done that, we know whether it's how we're positioning ourselves for opportunities up front or when we're actually responding to proposal requirements. We have a more robust or well-rounded solution-focused response. And really, all of this allows us to demonstrate better problem solving, which that's what a lot of our clients really need from us. And we're able to incorporate feedback and learning. We can incorporate feedback and learning from past things that we've done, or really learning in the moment and getting feedback on the current opportunity and iterating to make sure that we really are presenting the best solution for this particular opportunity.
So with that, and Amy, I really love the system 1 and system 2 thinking. We use it here a lot. We talk about how this product uses both sides of that. And one of the things that we found in this product that we appreciate more than anything is the ability for a master artifact that keeps us in check and keeps us with templated information and prompts that Shipley Inside has put into this tool. And so the master artifact, which we call the flight plan, everyone calls it the flight plan, is a really interesting artifact that really pulls in win themes and customer insights and competitive information. It's an ability to create your own wall of truth. What words shouldn't you use? What words should you be focused and highlighting on? All of those things are put into the flight plan, and that flight plan then is used to generate the first draft. And so for us, keeping humans in the loop is how this flight plan truly works. It gives us the ability to truly put information in and see it come out in the outcome of the draft itself. So as we look at this and as we start to think about this, the most important part of this comprehensive document is really around having folks who can come in and use it and complete it, and making sure that for us, this has been a true work in progress over the last year. Doing the flight plan 3 hours before you want to push the button probably isn't the way to get the most complete information in there. And so when you start to use this flight plan, we look at it for a couple of different things. Number one, do we have complete information? Number two, do we have the ability to get a clean draft? So have we given it a clear enough information to do that? So as we start to think about the flight plan, as you see here, again, when we talk about it, humans are in the loop at all given times. The only time is when we're sleeping. We push the button at night before we leave to get that pink draft. And when we come back in the morning, we're refreshed. And guess what? Our teammate has worked all night long, probably not, probably a couple of hours, to create this awesome pink team draft that we can take directly into a review. If we can do that, and the goal for us is to truly work through that flight plan, what we have done, and we're continuing to work toward this, and we're continuing to push for this, is embedding the flight plan so much earlier into the process. We've actually created a new process template for an opportunity lifecycle. We bring it in early. As soon as we get the go, no go to develop the opportunity, we develop that flight plan. And then we use it deep into the capture phase itself. So as we start to look at this and we start to really think about it, we integrate BD, we integrate capture, and we integrate proposal much earlier in the process to make sure that we are getting all of the information we need and overarching information and detail to create that first draft. This is our goal. This is what we continue to work on. And what you will see is that flight plan now is being opened to other organizations within our own company to make sure that we're hitting all of the compelling reasons why someone should pick us. From the back office, from our training organization, from our HR organization and staffing. All of these pieces are now coming together and really embedding all of the information into the flight plan early and often. So with that, what have we done here? And so over this past year, what we've really started to look at is creating a culture of capture, a culture of capture across the whole corporation. We're looking at, folks understanding and knowing that it's everyone's job to help grow this company. It's the way in which they work in it. And that includes pWin. We start with that knowledge repository. And that knowledge repository is where we start to put in and ingest all of the information we want to be able to find in our proposals as we start to create those. And so this knowledge repository truly does create this single source of information that we know has been looked at, vetted, and it is good and we're ready to go. It also ensures the consistency that we keep talking about. And with consistency creates quality. It creates the ability to be relevant and relatable in this proposal itself. And so once we do that and we're able to break down all of the silos that is truly fostering this culture of capture, we're getting richer data. We're getting more up-to-date data. We're actually getting things from programs that we haven't taken credit for in years that are true differentiators for us, and we are now finding those and bringing those out. So what does this pWin knowledge repository do for us? First of all, we love the KR chat function on this, and surprisingly, this is one of the areas that we just didn't realize. Everyone wants to use KR chat. We use it for everything in growth. We use it for data calls. We use it for RFI responses. We use it for the RFP. We use it to help generate past performance and customer decks. All of that we're using. But what we have found, surprisingly, is that everyone in the company now wants KR Chat. They want it for different reasons. They want to build these things for, our program managers. They want to build upon delivery and upon our back office and help us train ourselves. All of these things are now part of our KR chat, and it's really opened our eyes and made us much smarter in our proposal writing as well.
Kim, all that KR chat, and I think the way that your team is using it so effectively, it's also because we don't have to rely on our own memory. Like I think about being on teams where everyone had worked there together forever, and you could kind of rely on your collective memory to know where everything is. Well, that's really not the capture team and the proposal team, currently. We see turnover in organizations, et cetera, where we're doing so many more bids and proposals and other things than we've ever done before. We can't just rely on our own, all of our collective memories. And the way you're using KR chat allows you not to expend all that mental energy, but to be able to have really all the detailed knowledge of everything that you've done at AIS over the years. And I really love that.
Well, and I will say for some of us who have slept since we've written something and can't remember where we've put it, what is in it, this has truly helped us. It makes me feel like my memory is not going bad. I can just chat it and get that information. So we do appreciate that too. Some of the results we're seeing here at AIS, we wanted to give you an idea of how much time we are actually getting back or optimizing. Right now, what we are seeing is about 7 days or a full week, because weekends are work days for most proposal writers. And so we're getting about 7 days back. In the early days, we did have some challenges here. We started with about 5 days saved, but we've been able to optimize that over the months and really get to about 7 days. And what we're really seeing from those 7 days saved are benefits that we're taking full advantage of. First, we're getting a higher velocity of bids. That was never our intent. We weren't looking to do more bids. What we were really looking for is our second benefit, and that was better consistency and quality of proposals. But because we have this tool now, we're getting better consistency and quality of proposals with a higher velocity of bids. So we're able to actually bid more. We're also seeing a much better optimization through that proposal process because we're putting this information in earlier and integrating our teams earlier, which means we can kick off much quicker to the RFP release and get to that pink team draft much earlier. And whether you call it a pink team draft or not, we can actually push the button before the RFP ever comes out to see where we are strong, where we have gaps, and where we can truly build upon that before the RFP even comes out. Last but not least, and I think the thing that most of our proposal managers really do appreciate is the automation of some of those repetitive tasks that now free them up to enhance our compelling narratives, to enhance orals practices, and doing other things that just happen to fall on their plates. So what we're really seeing with this tool is that it has truly become an instrumental team member to us, because when we use it for what it's good at, it frees our other folks up to do things that they're very good at. And so now we've been able to truly become better strategic thinkers earlier in the process and later in the process. And we're able to pivot and do those things much quicker because of these days saved. It really gives us the time to hone in and make it a better product. So let's demystify this, Amy. Let's work on this. Let's think about AI and what it can do. And for us, what it can do, because we are driven, we're driving our proposals from an AI perspective, we're getting better insights. We're actually seeing insights that we may have missed as humans as we pull in information from that knowledge repository. So now we're able to take that information and we're able to shape strategies. We're able to come to outcomes a lot quicker, but we're also able to come to these outcomes with a better strategic play, which we do find very, very good for us here. And so one of the things we're doing too, from an AI perspective and what it's doing for us, is it's taking complex RFP requirements and it is creating a narrative around those complex RFP requirements. It's giving us the how we do things. It's giving us that information and then giving us the opportunity and enabling us now to hone in on that how and what we can do from that complex technical realm. And last but not least, it can give us a shorter timeline to proposal submission. And that's always important. If that would be the only thing, that's important to us. But it is doing much more than that. Amy, let's talk a little bit about the can't do's.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are huge proponents of AI. We've been talking about it together for pretty much the majority of the last year, but it can't do everything. It's not magic. It's a great enhancement to the way that we work, but there are still things it can't do. I love how you use the phrase, Kim, that it helps you generate a narrative. It's not doing strategic thinking. So I think that's the one thing that it can't do. It can generate a narrative based on content that you have, based on RFP requirements, but it's not being creative like we are as humans using strategic thinking. It also can't teach us how to use AI. We have to develop those skills ourselves, build those muscles, build an understanding of this new way of working. And even though I think you've done such a good job of explaining how you can use AI in the pWin.ai system in particular, how you can use a flight plan to collaborate better with your teammates, both human and AI, but it can't really do that collaboration for us. We, as the human in the loop, have to make sure that we're bringing the right people together, the right knowledge together to really, make sure that we have the right solution, whether that's during capture or during proposals. And we have to be the drivers, really, of that collaboration. As you think about how AI ready that you are, we would love to invite you to the next webinar in our series. We will be talking more about demystifying AI at our October webinar. Shipley also has a BDAI training course that you can sign up using this QR code. Our next course is on September 23rd, and we've offered a discount code to people who are watching this webinar. This course teaches you about general purpose AI, specific AI technology, and then you get to use pWin.ai in a sandbox environment. And if you'd like to see pWin.ai in action and want to move right to getting a demo, you can use the QR code and a member of the pWin.ai team will get back to you. So thank you for joining us today. It's been a great learning experience that I'm sure we'll all be continuing together in the years ahead. So Kim, thank you for joining me today to talk about your experience at AIS. And thank you all of you for spending time with us today.
Thanks, Amy.